I want to tell you a Hasidic story from the Hasidic tradition, a story that I really, really love. And yeah, when my son Yehu was a little boy, he used to ask me to tell him this story again and again. But I find this story very relevant for these days of social isolation and being and lockdown and all that. So here it is. Um, there were two Hasidic masters in Poland in the 18th century. There were two brothers. They were mystics. They were spiritual masters. Uh, Zusha was the name of one of them, and Elimelech was the name of the other. And as part of their practice, they took 2.5 years to dress up like beggars and just go around Poland by foot or taking rides and not sleeping 2 nights in the same place, but just like wandering like beggars, actually begging for food and eating only if people give them, just going and with the flow in this way and seeing what life brings to them. So there are many stories about what happened to them in those 2 years. One of the things that happened is that one evening, they came to this town, and it happened that horses were stolen in this town just before they came. So the police was out looking for the thieves, and they saw two people, unknown people, walking in the streets, and they look kind of bad. They decided probably these Jews, probably these are the thieves. So they took them and put them in jail. Now this jail was one kind of cell full of the criminals of the day, kind of thing, in Poland. All kind of drunk people and criminals. Um, and those two spiritual masters were thrown together with them. So they sit in jail in the cell and look at each other, look around, and so like, okay, inside, outside, what do we care? We're always free. We can always study Torah and Kabbalah. So they sit in front of each other and they're starting to speak teachings and discuss and have a discourse with each other, going deep, and they're happy and they're blissful. Now, the police officer that was in charge of the jail didn't like the fact that he has two prisoners that are so happy and don't give a shit about the fact that they're in jail. They're supposed to be upset. So one thing he knew about the Jewish tradition is that Jews do not study Torah when it's stinky. Um, when there's bad smell around, you're not allowed to speak holy words. So there was a bucket of shit, actually, that, when the prisoners needed to go to the toilet, there was a bucket there. They would go out, do what they need, and come back. So he took the bucket that was very, very smelly and brought it into the cell, put it in the middle of the cell, went out, locked the door, and it started to smell horribly with a bucket in the middle. So they look at each other and they say like, what to do? Now we can't talk holy teachings anymore, sacred words. But we can dance, they said. We can dance. Dancing is okay. So they stand up, they take each other's hands, and they start dancing and stopping with their feet on the ground and singing Hasidic songs and dancing, and they're happy. And one by one, all the drunk people in the cell, I mean, what else they have to do? That's the best party in town. So one by one, they join. And after a while, you have a big circle. All the prisoners, they're all dancing and holding each other by the shoulder and hugging each other and dancing and singing and rocking and stopping with their feet on the ground. It made so much noise that the commander of the jail from his tower or whatever had to come down and see what's happening in the cell. And he comes down and he's very upset. What's happening? It's like a riot. All the prisoners are dancing in jail. That's not supposed to be like that. So he goes down, he gives a bad look to the officer who doesn't know what to do, and he goes to one of the Polish prisoners and he asks him, "Tell me, what's all this party about?" So this guy says, Mr. Commander, I don't know, but it's all because of those two guys there. In the minute that the officer brought the bucket of shit and put it in the middle, they started to be so happy. So if you want to make them sad again, take it out.